You know, if you've never owned a tube amp, today might be the day where you go, screw it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy myself this cool little amplifier. The Reisong Boyuu A10 is extraordinary in so many ways, but the first thing that's extraordinary about it is the price. Well, the sound is really good too, but let's just talk about the price. When you buy it from China Hi-Fi Audio, the price starts at $200. Now, I first looked up the price and I saw it on Amazon for $360 with free shipping for Prime customers. That's a big difference, but you may feel more comfortable buying it from Amazon, so you could spend the $360, or you can get it from China Hi-Fi and pay starting at $200. I'll leave it to you. I will link to those below. But the point is, this is a really, really, really affordable amplifier. And the best thing is, considering its price, either price $200 or $360, this thing is really beautifully made. The chassis is chrome stainless steel with machine metal corner pieces, let's say the feet. So this one is all tube. That's key. Key to the tube-alicious sound that the A10 makes. I've said this before, I don't have a lot of interest in tube amplifiers that are trying to sound like solid-state amplifiers. Just get a solid-state amplifier. I like tube amplifiers that wear their tubiness proudly, and this guy certainly does. Now, the power tubes, by the way, are EL34s, which is not what you usually see in very low-price amplifiers like this. They usually use EL84, the little skinny tall tubes. This has the romantic tube, the EL34. Right up there, probably my favorite power tube of all. So it's got the right set of tubes, and on the rear of this amplifier, which I'm showing you right now, it has output taps for 4 ohm and also 8 ohm speakers. A lot of affordable tube amplifiers just have a single set of speaker connectors, and it is what it is, usually 6 ohm. This one lets you do a little better in matching to different kinds of speakers, so it has 4 ohm taps and 8 ohm taps. That's really cool. Now, one thing you'll see back there right away, it only has 2 sets of RCA inputs, and the selector to go between the aux and the CD input is that little black button on the rear. It's kind of weird that the selector isn't in the front, but it's not that big a deal. What else can I tell you? It's beautifully built. I mean, this thing weighs 26 pounds. It is solid feeling. The tube cage is, of course, removable. But when you put in the tubes, you look at the sockets, the tube sockets. Again, really, really nicely done. The inside, when you take off the bottom cover, is mostly point-to-point wiring, which is something you only see usually in really expensive amps. Point-to-point, in other words, instead of a printed circuit board, which is cheaper to manufacture, this one goes the extra mile and has point-to-point wiring. It's really, really special. Oh, one downside that may be a deal breaker for some of you, there is no remote. Sorry. Oh, now we got to get to a little dicey part here, which is the power rating. Now, the power is rated at 12 watts, and I assume that meant 12 watts per channel. But Sean at Zero Fidelity, he has a YouTube channel, and he did a review, and he just loved this amplifier. And we talk all the time, and I said, hook me up with those people. I want to review it. So here it is. I got it. And Sean let me know that no, it's not really 12 watts a channel. It's actually 6 watts per channel, so 12 watts total. So 6 is not 12, right? It's not a powerful amp, but when I used it with my Clips Cornwall 4s, which are big horn speakers and they're super efficient, it sounded great. I just reveled in the sound. It was so tubey, so dimensional. The soundstage was huge. It sounded great. Now that's a very expensive speaker. They're $6,000 a pair. But don't despair, because Clips makes high sensitivity speakers at much lower prices. And the one I would recommend, which would make sense here, would be the Clips RP600M, which I believe is 99 dB sensitivity, so that's extremely high. It would be a great match. I didn't have one here to try, but it's just, I'm sure that one would work. I know that speaker very, very well. Now, but what I used other than the in the big clips is the Cornwall, I also used an Emotiva B1 Plus that I just reviewed recently, which is definitely not a high sensitivity speaker. And yes, I definitely felt the limitation of the 6 watts per channel there. But when played at soft to medium loud levels, again, the sound quality was, I was about to say to die for, in the tube sense, in being very warm and enveloping and juicy and rich and harmonically developed. It's a pleasure. It's not the ultimate in resolution and clarity and detail. No, it's not. The A10 is not going to give you that. But what it gives you in terms of soul is extraordinary. You know, oh, I just wanted to mention the thing about low-powered amplifiers. When I went out to visit the amplifier designer Nelson Pass last summer, he makes a lot of low-powered amplifiers called first watt. He had a meter on top of the right speaker, I think it was the right speaker, that indicated how much power the amplifier was putting out at any given moment. And at the top level, the top window of that meter was 1 watt, and he'd say, yeah, you know, with efficient speakers, you're almost always playing it at less than 1 watt. So, though people get hung up on power, if you're not into headbanging music, you're not having dance parties and stuff, you just have a living room, a small living room, you're playing music at moderate levels, 6 watts can go pretty far, even with even with speakers that aren't all that sensitive, like the Emotiva. And when I listen to the Emotiva close up in, let's say, midfield or near field, like from 5 or 6 feet away, where you're not trying to fill an entire room, the 6 watts sounded really, really good. Now, I did compare the A10 with a Denon PMA 600NE stereo integrated amp that's 40 watts a channel. And no surprise, that amplifier could play louder, was more dynamically alive, and more transparent overall. So absolutely, yes, the solid-state amplifier, which is $400 for the Denon, wins on that accord. But when I switched from the Denon back to the A10, that seduction happened, that tube richness came back that just said, yeah, I like this. I'm just using words to describe sound. I can tell you that if you want that kind of sound of tubes, but for people out there who are sort of tube curious, right? They have a good solid-state amplifier, they know it's good, they enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. But they're tube curious. They want to know what that's like, but they don't want to spend a lot of money, and they don't have a lot of space for a big tube amplifier. And their speakers are fairly sensitive, and they're not into, you know, power rock or something, or they're not into heavy metal or whatever. To get an amplifier like this as an alternative to your solid state, to just dip your toe into the sound of tubes, I think makes a lot of sense. Because when you open the box, oh, and I should say, I didn't mention this, the packing is so good. I don't do unboxing videos. I should have for this amp because it's so beautifully packed. It looks like you can drop it off of a, you know, a 3-story building and it would survive. It's really, really solid. The tubes are individually wrapped and really, really well done. But where was I? You should experience this. You really, if you call yourself an audiophile and you've never lived with a tube amplifier and you can get along with low-powered amp, this is definitely worth checking out. So I tried this from Tidal. I played this Massive Attack. They have a singles collection. And the A10 driving the Cornwalls, which have 15-inch woofers, the rolling thunder of those woofers, they practically massaged my insides. It was just so, there was a lot of gusto there. I'm thinking 6 watts? Yeah, but 6 watts with a very sensitive speaker can move a lot of air. Is it the ultimate in precision and is it the ultimate in definition and control? No, it's a little loosey-goosey there, but it feels good. It's like I said, it's like getting a massage. And it's tuneful, you know. I was tapping my feet, I was grooving around, I was having a good time. Switching over to the Denon again, yep, tightened up the bass, dynamics opened up a bit. Yeah, if you want that PMA 600 NE for $400, go for that. So, in other words, what I'm saying here is the A10 isn't for everybody in every situation. It has its limitations, but the rewards of living with a very voluptuous, palpable sound of tubes for this kind of money is something to consider. It really, really is. Then I tried this Jerry Garcia record. It's a solo record, not with the rest of the Dead or anything. And it's just that thing of he's playing guitars and mandolins. There's a tactile quality. You can almost like touch the instruments. And he's just a wizard, man. He's just playing his ass off. And the A10 put me there. It does that kind of presence that just, it's hard to resist. Once you, I should warn you, yes, if you've never experienced that, it may be hard to go back to solid state once you experience what this thing can do with the right speaker. You know, and no review can be complete right now without me listening to Billie Eilish, you know. That woman she's got it. She is the one. She is the pop singer for now. And it's so cool that she's 18 years old and I like her. And 18-year-olds out there like her and I like her, that the generations have finally aligned. I love the production, you know. It's deep, it's dense, there's a lot going on. The bass is just big, fat, deep. Make your woofers get a workout. And it's reasonably dynamic. It's compressed, but not much by today's standards. It's a really well done recording. So I am definitely a fan. And 6 watts, even with the Emotivas, the low sensitivity speakers at not crazy volume, not bad. I was listening close up, didn't need to crank it that much, and 6 watts definitely worked for me. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think I have made my case for the Reisong Boyuu A10 stereo integrated amplifier. It is a nice piece of work. I may want to revisit some other Reisong amplifiers in the future. We'll see how it goes. But for now, I can just say, my name is Steve Guttenberg, and this is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. Right now, coming up about 5 days a week. If you dig what I do, please subscribe. Hit that button right down there. You can follow me on Twitter at AudiophiliacMan and on Instagram at steve.guttenberg. Best of all is my Patreon at patreon.com/audiophiliac. And with all that out of the way, I can now say thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.